Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Josh All alone with you guys on a Wednesday midweek episode, kind of like I've been doing here the first few weeks of the season. And, we've had a few days now to process whatever that was that happened in Cleveland on Sunday against the Giants. And, we're going to talk a little bit more about it after we did our live show on Monday night, breaking down our reactions to it. Everybody in the chat was chiming in. That's awesome. We appreciate when you guys jump in the lives with us. That's so cool. And, we've gotten some feedback from people, and we've had a chance to kind of see the overall reactions from the entire fan base. So we'll break some of that down here today because, we mentioned it on the show Monday night, and I kind of want to double down on the whole "can the Browns fix it" question that I've been getting from everywhere, from social media, from friends, family, just anybody who knows that I'm a Browns fan is like, hey, is it over? Or can the Browns turn this thing around? So we'll talk about that. And again, we mentioned it on Monday night's show, but I will go into a little more detail here, talk about some injury news from today's practice and updates from Kevin Stefanski and all that kind of stuff. So just give you guys that midweek update. If you could please on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the channel. And, we're past the 10,000 subscriber mark. You guys are awesome. Best audience in the world. And now it's on to, the next goal is 15K and then 20K. So let's keep going. If you're watching this content and you like the show and you haven't subscribed, just tap the subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps out the show a ton. And make sure you tap the notification bell so that way you get an alert every time we post a new video, new content, anything like that, because we are very active all over all social medias, YouTube, and then also you can follow us at the Dawgs Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're doing it all. So let's dive in here and talk real quick about the injury updates from today. Just some quick hitters. The Browns have officially placed right guard Wyatt Teller on the IR, so he is now going to confirmed miss at least 4 games. So that means that third-round rookie Zach Zinter, who came in for Teller when he was injured during the game on Sunday, he's going to get his early career debut to kind of audition his potential to be a piece of this offensive line moving forward into the future, because we know that just talking all offseason about contracts and players and ages and things like that, this was probably going to be Wyatt Teller's last season with the Browns anyway, and now Zach Zinter gets to come in here and show that he can hold his own. He can be that future guard that the Browns drafted him to be. I think that pretty much confirms Wyatt Teller will not be a member of the Browns in 2025. So we'll see. Hopefully, when Zinter came in on Sunday, he played well. He held his own and was one of the higher graded linemen. Of course, he had far fewer snaps than the rest to look horrible, which the others had plenty of snaps to look horrible. But, encouraging for a first-time early season. He gets thrust in there type of situation. So Zach Zinter starting for at least the next 4 weeks, as long as he doesn't get hurt. You never know with this team, right? You just never know. This is the one name that concerned me when I saw it on the report, and it wasn't the name being on the report. We knew Myles Garrett wasn't going to practice this week. We know he's dealing with injuries, but it's the new injuries listed that are concerning. Well, I should say injuries. It's just there's 2 new ones. One's concerning. Not practicing today, listed as obviously those feet injuries that he's been dealing with for the last 2 weeks. And now he's added with a thigh injury, which, okay, not really a big deal on the thigh injury. That is what it is. Achilles. No idea what that is, but he is listed as out of practice with foot, thigh, and Achilles injuries. So the thigh and the Achilles are new. Like I said, the thigh is whatever, but the Achilles being listed there, that to me is concerning because, like I said, no word on what it is exactly or the severity or anything like that. So we have no details that I've seen. But anytime that a player is listed as having any sort of an Achilles injury, that's kind of a big red flag. So we'll keep our eyes on that one moving forward throughout the week. As far as like Kevin Stefanski, what his comments and everything is that Miles is still planning to play through his injuries. He's going to, fight through it. He's fought through injuries before and played and all that kind of stuff. But the Achilles thing, that's not good. Now, it might be a very minor thing. Who knows? But, we saw this whole thing, and obviously the most recent, if you play fantasy football, definitely, though, anytime you hear Achilles right now, you're like, oh, CMC. Christian McCaffrey, I mean, the dude's flying over to Germany now to get, specialized treatment for his Achilles injury just to try to heal faster to get back out there this season. And to see Myles Garrett, who, I mean, the dude lives and makes his impact in the game on his speed and burst and explosiveness, to be listed with an Achilles injury, that's concerning. So we will definitely keep track on that one. Other players not practicing today on Wednesday, Jack Conklin out with the hamstring. I expect him to miss at least Sunday's game in Vegas, probably the next game in Washington. Like, these hamstring injuries linger. He's an older vet now. Lineman was already dealing with injury, hurt his hamstring somehow, whatever. I don't know what's going on with Jack Conklin, if he's going to get out there this year or not. Jed Wills not practicing today with his knee injury. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he sits out and misses the game in Vegas now, too. We could very well be seeing that patchwork offensive line where Joel Bitonio is over at left tackle with Posick over at right guard, Nick Harrison at center, and then you've got Zinter and DeJuan Jones. But we'll see how it goes. Just not a great situation for this offensive line that's already struggling. Jerome Ford missed practice today with a knee injury. Not really sure when or where that one occurred, if it happened during the game and I missed it or just didn't register with me. Drop it in the comments. Let me know a little more information about that if you guys have it, because I haven't seen anything else. Don't know the severity. It could just be a inflammation thing just to start out the week. But again, practice reports on Thursday, Friday, going to be very important. Again, it's a running back, so the way this offense is operating right now, I'm not sure it really freaking matters. We don't seem to want to run the ball. Speaking of running backs, Pierre Strong, still not practicing with his hamstring injury. I doubt he plays or anything on Sunday, so he'll be out. David Njoku, not practicing with his ankle sprain. This is a guy for sure got to watch the next two practice reports this week. My guess at this point, I mean, he's probably 50-50 at best right now to play on Sunday. These high ankle sprains are a bitch for these players. They really are. I mean, you hear a lot of times that having an ankle fracture is actually better than having a high ankle sprain, just because the fracture can heal better and more complete, whereas these high ankle sprains are painful, just as painful and harder to heal. So hopefully, he's back out there on Sunday, but if not, look for him in the next week or two. But, He's fighting through that right now. And then Jordan Hicks is the last guy not practicing today with injury, listed as ribs and elbow. I think he should be good for Sunday. And that dude has been playing awesome football for this Cleveland Browns defense. So getting Jordan Hicks on the field Sunday will be great for the Browns as they continue to pretty much only have success on the defensive side of the ball. Speaking of only having success on the defensive side of the ball, we got to talk about this offense. That is the talk of the town right now because it's bad. It's pretty awful. And, we came on the live show Monday night, and I think there was a lot of people who took some of our Twitter posts and Facebook posts and stuff out of context the other day and assumed we were only blaming Deshaun Watson for all of the offensive woes. And that was not the case at all. Like, if you watch the live show, watch that episode from Monday, we said about 1 million freaking times that the entire offense is horrible. Everybody is just dropping the ball. Receivers actually dropping the ball. Offensive linemen just completely whiffing on blocks, not holding blocks. They suck. And I'm sorry, but Deshaun Watson is also to blame. He's holding the ball way too long. I got some numbers on that. And he's obviously, some of the sacks are not on him. There's nothing he can do. But other situations, he's holding the ball too long and taking sacks whenever there are guys open that he could be throwing the ball to. So, It is a mixed bag of garbage for this offense right now. Everybody's at fault. Everybody's to blame. Nobody is excused from this whatsoever. And that does include Deshaun. So for the people who don't want to hear that, and trust me, for this podcast, for us, this is hard for us to come out and be like, okay, he is now becoming he's a problem. He is one of the problems on this offense because we have been his biggest supporter. If you guys have followed this show, we've been the biggest supporter and defender of Deshaun Watson this entire time. And so far through 3 games, there's nothing to defend. There's nothing to support. It's awful. And that goes for the whole offense. I'm not trying to single him out, which is what I think some people are assuming, because just to give you guys a little insider details on some things, behind the scenes, we rarely get like messages, DMs and stuff on Twitter or Facebook or anything from people. But yesterday we got like an onslaught of messages from people calling us racist because we were blaming Deshaun Watson for the offense and everything like that, and gotten some pretty heated discussions with some people and said, listen, how is it racist to criticize the quarterback's play on the field? And I can't believe how many people's argument was you can't blame the quarterback, or we're racist for blaming the quarterback when we should be blaming the wide receivers who are also black. So I don't understand how it's racist to blame one black person for their performance on the field when we should be blaming other black players. Like, the skin color doesn't matter. It's did you catch the ball? Did you not? Did you hold your block? Did you not? Did you throw the pass in a good spot, or did you sail it over the receiver's head? That's what we're evaluating. I don't give 2 shits what your skin color is. Never have, never will. Obviously, if we were racist, we probably wouldn't be following any major pro sport, because I'm pretty sure there's a whole mixed bag of races in every single one of those. I'm kind of wearing like a number 24 jersey right now, which is Nick Chubb. I wouldn't be wearing that. I wouldn't have these jerseys on the back here. Let's not be stupid, guys. Let's not go play these dumb, arguments when I get it. It's like I said, it's not easy for us to be talking about how bad Deshaun Watson has been because we've supported him so heavily. But, you got to take the information as you have it. And right now the information on the field is not good. So just, if you guys are going to start sending us all these hate messages, just be prepared. We are going to fire back. So through 3 games, I want to break down some of these stats. The Cleveland Browns, 3 games, 2024. We have 4 total red zone drives. That is the fewest in the entire NFL. Mind you, this is an offense that before the season we were told was going to be explosive. It was going to be fireworks. It was going to be juicy, said David Njoku. Tons of touchdowns and all this stuff these guys are talking about. Well, we've seen none of that. 3 games, 4 red zone drives. Are you kidding me? Think about all the teams in the league that aren't very good right now, and we're the worst. 248 total yards per game on average. That is the second fewest in the entire league, behind only the Patriots, who just put up very minimal against the Jets in week 3. 152.3 passing yards per game. That's the third fewest. I got some stats to show you how bad that is too. And then 95.7 yards per game rushing. That is bottom 10 for a Cleveland Browns offense that used to be top 10 all the time, if not top 1, 2, 3 in rushing yards per game. I understand we don't have Nick Chubb, and he was a large part of that. The offensive line is not doing very well. The play calling, the quarterback play, all of it, none of it is helping the situation. 16.7 points per game. That's also bottom 10. We're not scoring jack squat. We can't even get close to 20 points. And we have only scored a grand total of 5 touchdowns on offense. And that's tied for the third fewest in the league. Pretty damn pathetic. Let's just go over some more stats. 16 sacks in 3 games. Again, blame the offensive line, blame Deshaun Watson, blame the receivers for not getting open, whatever. It's all of it. It's not this one or that one. It is all of it combined, but still this offense has put out 16 sacks. That is a 17 game pace of 90 freaking 1 sacks on the season. The league record, by the way, is 76. Sacks taken by David Carr, not Derek Carr. David Carr back in 2002, a long freaking time ago. Watson and the Browns offense are on pace to break that record by 15 sacks. To put it into more perspective, we're again on pace for 91. Deshaun averaged 43 sacks per season in Houston. Hard to talk about the sacks per average in Cleveland because he hasn't played a full season yet. But in Houston, it was 43. So we're talking like over double what he averaged in Houston. That's what the Browns offense is on pace for right now. Terrible. And here, why are we getting sacked so much? And this is to tie kind of all this passing stuff into context here, because I'm so disappointed. Like it's killing me to watch this offense because of everything we were told. We were gaslit all summer about how awesome this offense was going to be. We brought in all these offensive minds. We were going to spread it out, go wild, be passing the ball all over the yard. There ain't none of that happening. 141 dropbacks. So is this offense trying to pass the ball? Are we trying to be this high-flying, pass the ball a lot offense? Yes, we are. 141 dropbacks. That is the most in the NFL so far this season. So let's put A with B here. We have the most dropbacks in the NFL, and yet we have the fourth fewest passing yards from those dropbacks. So we're dropping back to pass more than anybody in the league. And we damn near have the lowest passing yardage output to show for it. Terrible. We have 551 total passing yards, like I said, fourth fewest. The freaking Carolina Panthers, and the only reason that they're above us is because they got a 300-some yard game out of Andy Dalton. But even with the two piss-poor weeks out of Bryce Young, they're ahead of us. The Tennessee Titans with Will Levis and whatever the hell he's doing, they're ahead of us. The Indianapolis Colts have more passing yards than the Browns, and Anthony Richardson completes like 8 passes a game. This is unreal. It's absolutely unreal. It's unacceptable. It's inexcusable. And we've got a lot of work to do, which I'll get to here in a second. But the a note I added here. The Raiders have the third most passing yards in the league so far. So that one's going to be interesting to watch on Sunday after we just let Daniel Jones carve us up. So we'll see how Gardner Minshew fares against the Browns defense, considering he almost beat us and probably should have beat us with the Colts last season. I digress. A couple other stats here. The Browns are 31st. Mind you, there's only 32 teams. We are 31st in the NFL in the usage of pre-snap motion. We are back, like we talked in week 1, to not doing what we claimed we were going to do and what the NFL has. Any data analyst you listen to about NFL offenses right now in 2024 and going back last year to 23, the teams that have the most successful offenses, the highest yardage, the most points, and all that kind of stuff are the ones that utilize a heavy rate of pre-snap motion. We are 31st in the NFL. By the way, who's first in pre-snap motion? The New Orleans Saints. Their offense looks pretty damn explosive so far this season, outside of that this past weekend when they had like their low-scoring slugfest with the Eagles. But overall, that offense has been humming and putting up yards and points. And the Browns are 15th, so pretty much middle of the road in play action pass. Dan Orlovsky, I think it was, on Twitter was posting a real simple post. He said, if you're not using pre-snap motion and play action pass in the NFL right now, you're not going to be successful. Well, we are 31st in pre-snap motion, 15th in play action pass. It's bad. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And when you watch the games, it's bad. And I know... So here's the thing. So we're week 3. Week 1 comes and goes, and you're like, okay, still all of my preconceived notions about what I believe about this team or that team, the league in general, are still based on the previous year. Because it's only been 1 week. It's only been one game for every team. We don't really know what we have yet. Week 2, you get a little more information, but still you're basing a lot of stuff off of last year. And then, well, was week 1 a fluke for some teams, or was week 2? What's the truth? And then week 3 comes, And now you're starting to see where the trends are, where the differences are, and where things are starting to even out in the current season. Obviously, week 4 is going to just take that to a whole new level. But so week 2, we come in, we're like, hey, look, we got blown out at home by the Cowboys. Cowboys were a great team last year. We assume they're a great team this year. You know, let's just hold off. Let's not overreact. Let's bounce back in week 2 and get a win. We got some winnable games coming up. Week 2, we go to Jacksonville. We play a lot better on offense, or I should say more efficient, but we still don't score a ton of points. We still look pretty rocky, and we come out with a narrow victory over the Jaguars. And we're still going, well, you know, the Jaguars were almost a playoff team last year. Like they're a good team. They're well coached and all this kind of stuff. Week 3 comes and goes, and now the story is completely flipped. Jaguars are a bottom NFL team. They're 0-8 in their last 8 games. Doug Peterson's on the hot seat. Trevor Lawrence looks like hot garbage. That's the one win we have so far is over that team. All of a sudden, the Jaguars win doesn't look very good. Doesn't look very good at all. And especially after you see what the Cowboys have done the last 2 weeks. They blew us out at home, and then they go back to their place and get the socks rocked off of themselves by the Saints, turn around and get absolutely steamrolled by Derrick Henry and the Ravens. Now they were able to make a last-ditch effort in the fourth quarter to try to come back. But for 3.5 quarters of that game, they were getting absolutely manhandled by the winless Ravens. And it's like, wow, that's the team that came in here and blew us out. Okay. And then we got just completely controlled and handled by the New York Giants. Maybe they turn around and end up being a decent team this year, but I don't believe so. Either way, we're not a good team right now. And that's concerning because we're supposed to be. We spent all offseason doing all these things, making all these personnel moves, these coaching hires. We fired everybody except for the wide receivers coaches for some reason. And obviously that's one of the units that's struggling a lot. Never did understand that one. But here we are. It's not one of. Statistically, the Cleveland Browns have the worst offense in the entire NFL. In the entire NFL. I mean, I'm trying to let that all sink in here because this, not only are we below what was expected based on everything we were told all summer and everything like that, like this is just outright not okay. Like it's just not, this isn't even close to acceptable, understandable, anything like that. And to kind of get into the meat and potatoes here of what I want to reiterate from Monday, because this is not a new thought. We had this Monday, and actually Blake, Justin, myself, we got a group text, and on Sunday we were talking about this, which is why we brought it up Monday. But Ken Dorsey has to go. Ken Dorsey has got to go. Hey, Dog Pack. Football season is the best time of the year, and it's here to stay until the Super Bowl in February. So get more out of football season with Underdog Fantasy, and you can win 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite players' stats like touchdowns, passing yards, receptions, whatever you want. I've been playing Underdog Fantasy for years now. If you've watched any of our fantasy talk before the season, you know I have like over 12 best ball leagues on Underdog here for 2024, but you could play contests all season long. The Underdog app is awesome. It's easy to use, and it's one of my personal favorites. Making picks on Underdog is simple, and signing up is even easier. Just download the Underdog mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using our promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. And you can also use our preferred fantasy sports link at signupexpert.com/dogs to access this great offer on Underdog and also see all the other offers available to you. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code DAWGS, DAWGS to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 or older, 21 or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, 19 and over in Alabama and Nebraska, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. This episode is brought to you by Manly Bands. Dog Pack, if you followed the show for a while, you know that I recently got married. I got my wedding band at Manly Bands. Now, I opted for something a little more simple, so I just got a plain, simple, gold, polished band from Manly Bands, but that's not everybody. And I'm telling you, they've got so many cool different designs and materials available. They've got bands made out of Jack Daniel's whiskey barrels, meteorites, even dinosaur bones. It's so cool. Just head to manlybands.com, check out the selection, see what they have. They've even got build your own bands if you want to make a custom style band for yourself. And right now, use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, at manlybands.com when you check out, and you'll get 25% off your order. 25% is a big deal. So make sure, if you guys are looking for a new wedding band, Blake mentioned last week or two on the show that, he's lost a lot of weight in the last year. And so his wedding band is a little too big for him. So he's thinking about getting a new one. And I told him, I said, just go to Manly Bands, see what they got. And the 25% off your order is such a great deal. You really can't beat it. So at least go check it out, see what they have. They've got some really cool stuff. And again, promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, if you decide to buy one, and you'll get 25% off of that purchase. If you don't know your ring size, you can order a free ring size guide. They'll ship it straight to you. You can punch out the little rings and put them on your finger to see which size fits you best. And then every single band you order comes with a free silicone ring for whenever you want to work out or go swimming or whatever you need a silicone band for. You get one for free shipped with your purchase of a Manly Band from manlybands.com. So check it out. Again, manlybands.com. Use promo code DAWGS for 25% off your order. So like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I do the Browns podcast here. A lot of people, my friends and family all know that. So I get extra questions every week about what I thought of the game or this player, that player, whatever. So the biggest question I've been getting asked by everybody, and a lot of people on social media as well, can this be fixed? Do you think that the Cleveland Browns can turn this around? Can the offense get fixed? And I think when people are asking that, I think the question that they really mean is, can the current offense that we've seen for the first 3 weeks get better? And the answer to that is no. The answer to that, as far as I'm concerned, my opinion, I could be totally wrong. But my answer to that is no, absolutely not. The current offense as it stands, the way it has been designed and built, and the players that we have will not get better this season. Nope. We are doomed with what we have right now. So the question that people should be asking, and what maybe some people mean or whatever, is what can the Browns do to fix the offensive situation? The only way to fix the offensive situation, because like I said, going with the current philosophy, the current scheme, the current design, the current OC, it's not going to work. It is not going to work, in my opinion. There's no way. The only way this gets turned around, they have to fire Ken Dorsey. Now, I don't say that lightly. If you guys, obviously, if you've been with the show for a while, we do not just knee-jerk call for people's jobs. We have never called for Kevin Stefanski's job. We are not knee-jerk, got to fire this guy, got to fire that guy, overreact in that regard. But there have been two guys that we have called for the Browns to fire mid-season before, and it was Joe Woods and Mike Prefer. And Joe Woods, we started talking about the Browns needing to move on from him probably, if memory serves correctly, I think we were about halfway, maybe a little over halfway into his first season here in 2020. But the Browns started winning the games, making the playoff push, so we kind of backed off the fire Joe Woods talk. We turned around, I think we were probably 3 games into 2021. I think it was after the Jets game when Joe Flacco for the Jets came and the Browns had a 3-score lead with less than 2 minutes to go. Jets had no timeouts and they won the game. We said, fire Joe Woods. He's got to, you have got to fire Joe Woods. He's not it. We can't play defense under him. We got to get rid of him now. Didn't happen. That season was a big struggle bus, and it was Kevin's worst season here. And then turn around in 2022, going into 22, we were like, got to get rid of Woods, and they wouldn't do it. They stuck with him. So when I say fire Ken Dorsey 3 games into the season, I'm not kidding. We need to get rid of him. And this is nothing personal against Ken Dorsey. It's just this whole plan of design, this spread out, heavy pass offense around Deshaun Watson is 100% flawed, will not work, cannot work, and we got to get rid of him so that way Kevin Stefanski is completely free to retake over this offense, re-implement his offense. These guys were all here last year. They know how to run that offense. It's all familiar stuff. They can get back into that. We need to get the quarterback back under center. We need to run the ball. We need a heavy dose of play action passes. We've got to get, I think Blake said the other night, we need the plays where Nick Harris is back in there at fullback. We need to start getting more creative in that regard because this stuff that we've seen for the first 3 weeks, it's not going to work. And the only way to really just clear the path for us to get back on track with the offense is to get Ken Dorsey out of the building. And, we can talk about stats, from Buffalo when he was there after he left this year, last year, whatever, but maybe we'll do that, on an upcoming episode because I'm sitting here saying Browns have to fire Ken Dorsey, but I'm going to tell you right now, they won't. Or at least they won't until it's probably too late. Unfortunately, is the way I feel about it because we as fans, we saw immediately Joe Woods was a problem. Joe Woods was a major issue for the Browns defense, and he was killing us. The defense was losing us so many games. But Kevin Stefanski didn't fire him. Andrew Berry didn't fire him. They kept him. They wrote it out. They stuck it out to the end. Whatever the results, may turn out to be. And then they fired him after finally 3 years of pretty mediocre to really bad defensive performances. So I don't have a whole lot of faith that the Browns are going to remove Ken Dorsey from the equation anytime soon. I mean, honestly, I feel like I probably would be surprised if they fired him midseason just because it's just not something they've ever done. This regime has never let a coach go, no matter how deserving they were to be let go. They've never done it midseason. Now, if this offense continues, which I believe it will, looking like total dog shit for the next 2, 3, 4 games, they may have no choice. They may say, look, we have to get rid of this guy. But yeah, I just wish they would do it now. I wish they would do it now. And I'm coming at this from a very logical standpoint. I'm not knee-jerk, emotionally reacting, saying, get rid of Dorsey. No. It is the fact that this is just not working. And we talked about it. We do not have the offensive line to execute this offense. We do not have the wide receivers or the playmakers to execute this offense. We have no playmakers on offense. Amari Cooper is a great wide receiver. He is not an explosive playmaking wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy has a lot of speed, great route running. He is not an explosive playmaking player. Okay? I mean, probably our best playmaker was David Njoku, and he's been out, and he's going to continue probably to be out for a little while. We've got, our running backs are not built for this type of... We cannot keep handing the ball off to Jerome Ford in the backfield. We can't do it. We cannot do it. Jerome Ford, and really honestly, Jerome Ford, get him out of that featured back role. What the hell are you guys doing? I just don't understand how we can see this as fans, clear as day. But for some reason, these highly paid professional NFL coaches and talent evaluators can't see it. The dude is not a featured back. Get him into his change of pace role. Let him play on the passing downs. Let him come in on the second and third and longs whenever we need a big play. The early down work has got to be Deontay Foreman. Has to be. It's got to be. And we have to be lined up under center to get him a full head of steam running toward that offensive line, because that is the only way we're going to get 3, 4, could we potentially get 5 yards a carry on first down? Maybe once or twice a game? Who knows? But we're not even trying right now, and that's the most frustrating part. So to me, to reiterate, Can the offense as it currently exists get better? No. Nope, I do not believe so. Can the offense get turned around? Yes, but it requires getting rid of Dorsey. Again, nothing personal, but just whatever you put together here, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So you got to go. Sorry. Nothing personal. It's just business. Kevin Stefanski has to get this offense back completely under his control. Yes, I know he's the one out there calling the plays, but he's calling Dorsey's plays. And this marriage between these two is not working because they don't have the same mindset. And I do agree with a lot of people who say that, the other route you could try is taking play calling away from Kevin and giving it to Ken Dorsey because it's his offense. Let him call the plays. But for me, I don't think it matters who's calling these plays because no matter what, the plays are for an offense that can't run them. So I don't care if it's Kevin calling plays or if it's Dorsey calling plays. You're calling plays for an offensive line, for wide receivers, running backs, and for a quarterback who cannot execute the plays. So it doesn't freaking matter who calls the plays. It's the offense that's being called. That's the issue. And to fix that issue, Dorsey got to go. Kevin takes it back over. I've got faith in Kevin Stefanski because I've seen it before. Guys, you've seen it before. We've all seen it. We saw him last year take a team that looked like, oh boy, this could get pretty rough whenever Deshaun Watson went down with a shoulder injury. What did Kevin Stefanski come out and do? He beat the San Francisco 49ers with P.J. Walker at quarterback. And P.J. Walker is not a good quarterback. He orchestrated that win against the Steelers with DTR at quarterback. That was a rough game, but he made it happen. Stefanski can unite the locker room. This team can rally. I want to make sure that's clear. The Cleveland Browns can rally. We can bounce back. We can win games. We can still make the playoffs. The season is not over. We're still in very good hands, but we also have hands on this thing that belong to Ken Dorsey, and those need to be removed. They need to be taken off, put to the side, out of the building. I'm sorry. It just didn't work. It's not like a you suck at your job, you're getting fired type of deal. It's that, look, you came up with a plan. The plan isn't working, and it's clearly not going to work. So now we're going to move on and try to fix this another way. That is my take. And I think, I'll get Justin and Blake's opinion on it too, but I'm pretty sure that's where they're at with this. We just have to get back to Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns basics. We tried this. We thought we could design a whole offense around Deshaun Watson. And just to kind of have a quick discussion about Deshaun, in my opinion, you got to give him the opportunity because he is your starting quarterback. You have to give Deshaun the opportunity to run that Kevin offense and see if he can make it work. And if he can't, I think you give him a game or two, depending on what your standing is, record-wise and who your opponents are. Give him a game or two running that Kevin offense. Obviously, he ran it last year a little bit. He knows what that's all about. See how the offense looks. If it's not a whole lot better, you got to make a change. You got to try Jameis and see what the difference is. It's the only way you're going to know. It's like doing scientific experiments, right? You got to have your variables. You got to have your constants. Well, let's put the line out there. Let's put the receivers out there. Let's run Kevin's offense with Deshaun and see how it looks. And then if it doesn't look good, let's run it with Jameis and see if it looks better. If it looks better, we found our problem. If it doesn't, we're just hosed. That's what we got to do. That's what we have to do is experiment here and figure out what is going to work, because we already know that this Ken Dorsey spread it out offense, again, this is not all on one person. It's not all on Dorsey, but it is his plan that's not working. So we got to get him out and get his plan gone. The offensive line has been terrible in this plan. Now, could the offensive line be better running the Kevin Stefanski offense? Maybe. It's worth a shot. We know they sure as hell can't run this one, so we might as well try his. Can the receivers run better routes and get open better in the Stefanski offense? I don't know. Maybe, but we already know they can't really do it in this one. Can Deshaun Watson run the Stefanski offense? I don't know, but he can't run this one. Not with this line, not with the way the receivers are playing. All this stuff is just bad, and broken. So take what we already know is broken, and that is the offensive system. Get it out the door. Get the old offensive system back in place quick and go from there. But that has not happened yet this week, so I am expecting another low output from the offense in Vegas. I really do not expect anything to change or look much better as long as we continue to try this whole Dorsey experiment. So that's my take on everything. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Is there another angle to this offensive situation that I'm not seeing, that we as a podcast are not seeing, that maybe you see and you want to float it out there? Because we'll be happy to share it with everybody on the show if it makes a lot of sense. Again, to reiterate, this is not a one-person problem. This is not Deshaun's fault. This is not the O-line's fault. This is not the receiver's fault. It's not Dorsey or Stefanski's fault or Barry's fault. Everybody's got a hand in the blame for this situation right now. So there's a pathway forward to fix it that I believe. Let me know what you guys think. I love hearing from you guys and supporting the show and everything. Again, I didn't say this at the top of the show, but we're going to be doing our Dog Pack Discord episode to preview the Raiders game tomorrow night at 9:00 on our private Discord. If you guys want to jump in there and be part of those episodes and just be part of that community, join thedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. That syncs up with the private Discord. You get access to everything that's over there. This is an awesome community of diehard Browns fans that are of the like mind, but we have good debate in there about things. Like there's no name calling. It's not, if you're sick and tired of the toxicity that is Twitter, get into jointhedogs.com. The Discord is a very good place to voice your frustrations, your concerns about the Browns, and just bounce your thoughts and everything off of all these other people in there that are, they're just good people, and they're going to have good discussion with you, whether they agree or disagree. We all talk about it, and it's like we're just one big Browns backer community online family, and it's awesome. So if that interests you, again, it's like the lowest tier on Patreon is like $5 a month. It's not a whole lot, and you can cancel anytime. So if you get in there for a month and you're like, this isn't really for me, or I don't really use this that much, or whatever the case may be, you don't have to stay. You can cancel. It's no big deal. But if you've got any interest at all, if it sounds like something that could be for you, it is totally worth checking out. So again, that is jointhedogs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member. Get into the Discord today, tomorrow, during the day. That way you can be part of the Discord live show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. previewing the Raiders game. And then I did want to put a PSA out there real quick about the show for next week, just in case we run out of time and forget to mention it tomorrow for the preview. But next week's going to be a little bit shaky for everybody in the Dogs podcast because we're all going to be spread out. Blake is going out with former host John Nye and Kenny Mack to Vegas for the game, and they're not coming back until like Wednesday, I think. So Blake is iffy for the Monday night reaction show from the game, depending on internet connectivity and what's going on in Vegas, the time change, all that time difference, all that stuff. I'm going to be on a family vacation next week, so I'm going to be trying to run the reaction show from a condo on the beach Monday night. We're probably not going to go live just unless the internet Wi-Fi access there is good. If it's strong enough, me and Justin at the very least, Justin should be available. But we'll try to do a live, but don't count on it, is what I'm saying. So just stay tuned, and if we aren't able to go live, Justin and I are going to do a reaction show, and then we're going to post it, or I'll post it, again, pending upload speeds and all that kind of stuff, immediately after we're done. So you should still get the reaction show Monday night, but again, live, I wouldn't count on it. Don't rule it out, but don't count on it. And then same goes for preview show next week for the Commanders game. We're going to try to do it, from our different positions around the country and everything. But again, if we're a little slow next week, if we're not posting as much, or we're not as, active on the social media platforms and with the videos and stuff, there will be no midweek Wednesday update next week. I won't be able to do it. That's why. But then coming back after the Commanders game, we'll be back in full force. And we have some other cool things coming up throughout the season as well, and we'll tell you about those once they get closer. So stay tuned, stay engaged, don't give up. The Browns can very much turn this thing around. We can still have a great season, a winning season, a playoff season. But shit has got to change, and it's got to change fast. So we'll see. Maybe I can be proven wrong. Maybe this Ken Dorsey offense and all these pieces that look completely inept to execute it will actually be able to do it on Sunday. I've got my doubts, but I would love to be proven wrong. We'll see how it goes. But we'll be with you guys through it all. Again, jointhedawgs.com. Get in for the Discord show tomorrow night. And until we see you guys on the preview for the Raiders game, let's go Browns.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, D-A-W-G-S, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.